15, I caught a blue jet as it pulsated on video, and it's the first time that we've seen a blue jet like that on video. Over. That's a good question. I think it depends on how big the weather balloon is. Now, I don't know if it's big enough and if it's colorful enough so that it can contrast against, for example, white clouds, then we might be able to see it. Over. We have a lot of interesting experiments up here. Last week I was working on an experiment to study how brain cells, human brain cells, age in space. I was also working on a 3D printer that can print human tissue, and we were trying to print a small model of a human heart up here to understand if that's possible in the future. Over. There are a lot of things that happen to your body in weightlessness, including loss of muscle mass and loss of bone mass, because you're not using your muscles and you're not using your bones when you're free floating. It takes no energy and no muscles to float in space, and so your body starts to get rid of what it doesn't need. And in order to prevent loss of muscle mass, we have to exercise every single day for 2 hours. And we have a bicycle, we have a treadmill, and we have a strength exercise machine where we can do all sorts of exercises to strengthen our muscles. Over. So it's part of our training to learn how to react to medical problems or emergencies in space. Some of my colleagues are designated the crew medical officer, so they get extra training, even though we're all trained in first aid and advanced life support. And then we have a lot of different medicines up here, so in case we get sick, hopefully we can treat whatever happens. Over. Yes, there's no natural time zone in space. We orbit the Earth with a speed of 28,000 kilometers an hour, which means it only takes 1.5 hours to fly once around the Earth. In other words, in 24 hours we see 16 sunrises and 16 sunsets. So there's no natural day-night rhythm. And so to have a time zone, we just choose Greenwich Mean Time up here, but we could have chosen any time zone to use. Over. Voice doesn't change due to weightlessness, but voice changes due to atmospheric pressure. So when we go on spacewalks and we go outside, we're working at a pressure of about 1/3 the Earth's atmospheric pressure, and there you can hear our voices change because of the lower pressure. Over. Well, we don't have a lot of free time, but the free time that we do have, we can use to call home and talk with our families and our friends, write emails, look out the windows, take pictures. Most astronauts, me included, we love to sit by the windows and take photos and share the photos with the public. We can also watch TV, movies, read books, anything really, except go outside. Over. Astronauts on board the International Space Station, and we get on together really well, probably because we knew each other before. It takes at least a year and a half to prepare for a mission, and during that year and a half on Earth, we trained together in Houston, at the European Astronaut Center in Cologne, Germany, in Japan, and also in Russia. And so we get to know each other really well before the mission. Over. Of course, I miss my family, but in addition to that, I miss small things like being able to open the door and step outside and feel the warmth of the sun, feel the breeze, smell the grass and the leaves, things like that. I also miss a warm shower, and I miss some good food as well. Over. Seeing the Earth from space is one of the most incredible experiences that we have. It's very, very impressive to see our beautiful planet. When you look down at the Earth, you see that it looks very peaceful, very quiet. You get a feeling of serenity, and you also realize what a unique place the Earth is. There's nothing that in any way resembles the Earth anywhere close to us. And so we realize we have to take care of the Earth, because not only is it our home, but it's our only home. And if we destroy the Earth, we have no other options. Over. Well, one of the challenges of working on the ISS is weightlessness. There's no real way to train weightlessness on the Earth because gravity is always present. When we train spacewalks, we can do it underwater because we use the buoyancy force of the water to compensate for our own weight. But it's not really the same thing as being weightless. And so it's not until we actually get up here that we learn how to cope with weightlessness and all the challenges that arise from everything floating. Over. With training underwater is that there's water drag. It takes a lot of force to move underwater. But up here in space, it takes no force at all. Just a small little push, and you're floating quickly down the space station. But it also brings a lot of challenges. Everything floats. Your tools, your screws, anything you're working with floats. And if you're not careful, it floats away and gets lost very quickly. Over. Weightlessness gets annoying when things disappear because, as I said before, things have a tendency to fly away and get lost. But otherwise, I don't really miss gravity that much. It's nice to be free floating up here. Over. Well, I think my biggest fear is not coming home to my family again. There's always a risk with traveling into space, so that's probably my biggest fear. Over.
Houston, the Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground.
Satellite, Oscar, Nancy, 7 Charlie, Lima, satellite. Excellent, many thanks. Bye-bye, ciao.